Himbo Jones got in trouble. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast that is here to cast your pod. Welcome. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty darn good, thank you.
I'm
about to take this chewy thing away from the dog so it doesn't make dumb noises while we record.
He's a fucking idiot. I just got done bitching to you about a video game that I was playing that I hate and I can't stop playing. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah, you're in a toxic relationship with a video game right now.
I am, but I am enjoying it. Just it's actually kind of refreshing that it's an imperfect game that still manages to make me think about it when I'm not playing it and being excited to play it again. So that's and I don't know why I'm being vague. It's Final Fantasy 16. That's what I'm playing. So, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm better now. I mean, peek behind the curtain. The last couple of weeks haven't been super great for me. My mental health has been doing a lot better lately, but if you are a longtime listener, you know that my brain's not great in general, and the last couple of weeks were hard. But I'm doing a lot better now, and I'm happy for it.
Yep. A couple weeks ago, we took a week off because I was feeling the burnout.
Yeah. And
last week, you took a week off because you were feeling the burnout.
Yep.
And in the midst of that week off, we hatched a scheme. We hatched a scheme in order to help us stave off the burnout because we don't want to keep skipping weeks. We like putting out episodes every week.
Yes.
And when you need help, it's always nice if you have friends that you can lean on, and we have that. So this summer, all throughout the month of July, or the months of July and August, we are going to have Smutco Industries' first annual Summer of Friendship. That's it. That's what it's going to be. So for every episode throughout July and August, you're going to get every other week, you're either going to get a book on this episode covered by Katie and I, that is written by a friend of ours in the smut author community.
Yes.
And on those other weeks, you're going to get us, but Katie is not going to be presenting a book. We are going to have, throughout the course of July and August, 4 special guest co-hosts / presenters who are also friends of ours on the show presenting a book to both Katie and I. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a new voice to hear. It's going to put some folks on your radar that you might not be aware of. It's going to give them a chance to have some fun with us.
Yes.
But most notably, it's going to give Katie an opportunity to not have to grind through books every week.
Which is not hard, except we are now in the summer break with our children as well. Our son isn't in school anymore. Summer is just busier.
Yeah.
It's harder.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a lot easier on me to lean on some friends.
Exactly. When a friend asks for help,
you help them.
Exactly. So we asked some friends for help. They said they would help us. We will reveal some of those names, probably all of those names, on next week's episode.
Yes.
Which is going to be another fun special episode because that's going to be the first Cheap Smut episode recorded somewhere other than this living room.
Yeah, that's right. We're going on a vacation next weekend. We're going to be recording while we're down in New Orleans, which will be fun.
Exactly. It's a working vacation. I've got to go down for 2 conferences, but you will be down there on a mini vacay.
Yeah.
And we're going to record while we're in New Orleans in our hotel room. Nice change of pace. But so there's a little programming note for your upcoming Smutco Industries summer. But in the meantime, what I have no idea. You might have mentioned it. I don't know. What
I've mentioned it many times, but it's been put off like 3 weeks in a row now. This week I am finally reading Mixing Up Mayhem by Heather Nix.
Okay.
This book, so fucking good, but I'm gonna admit, like, the first week that we chose to skip and do a different book was because I wasn't ready to share it yet, because I was like, no, this is mine. Okay. No, this belongs to me for a minute. So
just wanted to sit with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved this book, and it was Not to get like too personal on Maine or whatever, but I am a queer woman, and it was a sapphic story that really affected me very deeply in ways that I was surprised about, even as an adult who has had her whole life to figure out, who she is. It was a really great story. I'm not gonna like leave you for a woman or anything. Don't worry about that. But
I'm not. I'm not gonna leave you for a man.
Why would you? Why would you leave me for a man?
I know they're historically pretty terrible. But no theys, thems, and no hims, thems, and he, thems, and it's you and me.
Yep.
I'm ride or die.
Yep.
You could be a fantastic, wonderful person for somebody else. Me.
Sorry, we're locked in.
I'm done.
We're done.
I do not, because again, not to get too personal on Maine, I'm autistic, and I have rigor in routine, and you are part of my rigor in my routine now. So A, there's that, and then B, the idea of expending the emotional energy. Like I was just telling you the other day, like my 2 previous relationships before I met you, every time I started to slightly lift that mask that I've gotten so good at creating and making because I didn't know what was wrong with me.
Well, yeah.
Nothing's wrong, but I didn't know why I was the way I was. And every time I'd lift that mask, they would be like, oh, no, put that back down. So to have to go through that again? No.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thanks. Yeah. So instead, I'll just, I'll get my gay feelings out by reading really good books like this one.
Yeah.
So this week, I read Mixing Up Mayhem by Heather Nix. It is book 1 in the Magic and Mishaps series. Currently, it is book 1 of 1. It just came out in October. So we're going to have to wait for more. And I hate waiting. I'm very impatient.
She's terrible
God damn it.
She's terrible at waiting.
I really am. But in the meantime, I will tell you about this story. So this book is available for $4.99 or through Kindle Unlimited, $12.99 for an Amazon print on demand paperback or wherever books are sold. And I finally figured out an alliterative name for this segment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the and anybody in between. Welcome to the very first segment of Triggers, Tropes, and Titillations.
Oh, nicely done.
So for our triggers, we have cheating, not by the main couple, misogyny in the workplace. I won't be covering that a lot, but it's in the book and it made me mad. Demons and hell, discussions of sin, and alcoholism. Those are our triggers. Our tropes are FF or sapphic romance, rom-com, portal fantasy adjacent, and a trope I just made up, but more are coming, so we just need to get used to it now. Line cook romance. We've all seen The Bear. In a couple of years, we're going to see a big wave of books featuring guys who look like Pete Davidson. Like, it's just, they're going to be greasy. They're going to be line cooks.
It's not long before I cannot remember the Jeremy something from The Bear. I can't remember his name. Jeremy Allen Stevens, I think is his name.
I don't know.
It's going to be like a buddy movie with him and Pete Davidson and Norman Reedus as like 3 line cooks who just like
who fuck, because you just described a book that a lot of us would read.
Who just bang their way across the country because they're just the greasiest line cookingest looking.
Oh, I meant them in a thruple.
Sure.
I'm leaving out. I don't care about them going across. I want them to figure their shit out in a really poignant and dramatic romantic drama.
And they both reach for the spatula and their hands brush.
Yes.
The griddle scraper.
Exactly. Through love, 2 of them get the third one to stop doing whatever illicit substance he's been doing, because there's always a line cook on drugs. We don't judge, but they're bad for your body, guys.
Yeah. And with the hours that you work,
seriously, you need a rest.
You do need a rest.
It's Norman Reedus. They finally get him to relax a little bit.
We take 1 week off and the energy is just so weird.
So weird. It's so weird. Okay. Our titillations, our sexual content, are explicit lesbian sex, fisting, tail sex, anal sex, breath play, consensual erotic asphyxia, and kink. Those are our Titillations.
Before we move on, I would like to apologize to everyone who is in love with the line cook, who is a line cook, anyone who has got a line cook in their lives. It wasn't meant to be. I was a cook before. It wasn't on a line. It was in a circle, but it's the same thing. I used to work in one of those restaurants where you would bring your food to the grill and I would cook it and hopefully entertain you.
A circle cook.
A circle cook, not a line cook.
That's funny. I like that. Circle cook.
Dodecahedron cook.
You worked under that big vent thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was so loud.
That's the loudest. But anyway, let's get this book in our earballs.
Seriously. Okay. So this book takes place in Seattle, which has been happening a lot lately in these books. It's not weird. It's just a pattern worth pointing out. So this is another book that takes place in Seattle.
Yeah, it's the old, if I had a nickel for every time it happened, I'd have 3 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's still weird that it's happened 3 times.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. There's just a lot of books being set in Seattle.
Yeah.
So for this book, we begin with our first FMC. Her name is Jackie Miller. Jackie is 35. She is fat, she is hot, and she is gay. God bless her. She is my favorite FMC of the year so far. I love Jackie. And a lot of that is probably because Jackie Miller is me in a lot of ways. Like, if I was a butch lesbian pastry chef,
oh, yeah,
I'd be Jackie Miller.
Oh, absolutely.
I react to things in a lot of the same ways that she does. Like, every choice that she made, I was like, yes, that makes perfect sense. This is exactly what I would do. Jackie Miller is me, so I love her very much. She is average height with short hair, which she dyes fantastic colors. Currently and throughout this book, it is pink. She works as a chef in Seattle. She's specifically a pastry chef, and at the beginning of the book, she is on her way to her first day at her new job as the pastry chef at Canid Kitchen, the only the only Michelin-starred restaurant in Seattle.
You get a Michigan star if you just serve pasties.
You get a Michigan star if you've got Verner's.
Yeah, or Faygo.
Or Faygo.
Yeah.
If you know the difference between a Flint and Detroit style coney and have an opinion on it, you get a Michigan star.
Yeah, you get a Michigan star for that. Let's come up with a list of things you get Michigan stars for.
Absolutely. Oh, there are so many. If you know what the term troll means in this context.
If you could pronounce Mackinac.
Yeah. If I showed you the word Shiawassee.
Yeah, and you got it right.
Or Charlevoix.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, this book. So Jackie is the pastry chef at the only Michelin-starred restaurant in Seattle, and in one of the most exclusive fine dining experiences on the West Coast. I'm very proud of her. So Jackie is less proud of herself at the moment when we open the book, because she is riding the ferry and she is hungover. Because she got a little too drunk the night before with the guys from her last job. So she's like, I hate my life and everything about it. I'm hungover and riding a ferry.
I was going to say, and then you're on a boat.
Oh, no, thanks.
My brain just threw up thinking about it.
While she's on the ferry, we go through a flashback of how she got the job. So she works for a guy named Chef Martin Velarde. He is a household name chef who got famous on a TV show when he was like super young, came out of nowhere, won the whole thing, and now he's at the top of the food scene. Jackie is super excited to work for him and to work at his restaurant because the concept of his restaurant sounds super cool. So it's local, farm to table, sustainable, and in every aspect that they can, Canyon also makes every effort to only purchase goods from local indigenous communities.
Even better.
So that's fucking cool. So they get all of their seafood, a lot of their vegetables and grain come from local indigenous communities. And as much as Chef Martin Velarde is an asshole, and he is, that's still a cool fucking restaurant. So good job.
You could be a principled asshole.
Yeah. So Jackie is quickly made aware of the fact that Chef Martin, for all he is a genius, is an asshole. His kitchen is staffed by misogynists who don't seem to care about the fact that like they're making jokes that basically anybody could hear at any time. And there's, obviously some anti-queer language in there as well. Just the grossness of a kitchen run by men. And basically the only time that that Chef Martin talks to Jackie the entire day is to come up and tell her that she looks tired and that other people would want this job. Like, fuck you, I guess.
It's clever when the doctor does it.
Yeah.
But when you do it, you're
okay. Well, when the doctor says, "Don't you think she looks tired?" he's ruining the career of someone whose career needs to be ruined.
Yeah.
When Chef Martin does it, he's just telling a woman she looks over 12.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Like, you look tired just means you've hit puberty, and I don't appreciate that. Or whatever fucking gross thing that's going on in his way, or in his head. But anyway, so she is convinced that she's not going to have a good time working here if she focuses on trying to be friends with the people here. That's not what she's here for. She is here to become the best pastry chef in Seattle. So that's what she's going to do. Thankfully, she does make one friend in her very sweet and obviously very queer pastry chef assistant named Everest. He is so, so cute. He's young. He's trying his best to claw his way up. Jackie takes him under her wing. And I love him to death. I absolutely love him. He's such a baby. He's such a sweet baby. I don't even know how old he is. He's probably like 25, 26. I don't care. He's such a sweet baby. Her first day at work finishes up without a hitch. The next morning, Jackie wakes up on her couch, hungover again, and like in a sea of bottles. And she sort of stumbles her way through the apartment, shoving her hair into a hat to get fresh clothes on to get out the door because, damn, when her girlfriend Camille is out of town, she really goes off the rails. Jackie is not, she's not very good at taking care of herself, and she doesn't have a very great relationship with alcohol either. She has a really shitty second day at work, but she pushes through it. She does everything that she can, but she does cut the tip of her finger though, which continues to be a problem. And she bleeds for like 3 days because it's like right here. Yeah. So it never heals because she's constantly working with her hands.
Yeah, it's right on that bend.
Yeah. That night, she gets a call from her girlfriend, Camille, who is currently in San Francisco visiting her mom and her sisters. And Camille breaks up with her.
Oh.
Well, fuck. Like, just, it came out of nowhere. Jackie was not prepared, and neither was I. This phone call was super brutal. So Camille says the main reason that she feels, at least that she wants to break up, is that she feels that she is always making accommodations for Jackie, but Jackie's never making any accommodations for Camille. Like, so Jackie took a job as a line cook at St. Mart, and they moved to Capitol Hill in Seattle because that's what Jackie wanted. And Jackie brought home that ancient cat. She has this fantastic, sweet old cat named Mimolette, which is a kind of cheese. I had to look that up. And she didn't ask first. She just brought the cat home. And she didn't, instead of fixing up the nice Jeep they had, Jackie dropped all that money on that beater of a car that used to belong to her dead dad. Yeah. Jackie's just not making enough choices that make Camille happy.
Okay. And instead of talking about it like an adult, she vacates the apartment and then calls.
Yeah. Ultimately, what she says is like, and then you took this job at Canede and you didn't even ask me about it. So she says that Jackie acts impulsively without thinking of other people. And Jackie is aware that she is an impulsive person, and she says that she will do better. But I was like, do not tell this woman you are going to do better, because you're not doing anything wrong in this case. Like, right. You took this job and she's mad at you because you took a job at the best restaurant in Seattle. Mm-hmm. You took a job as the head pastry chef at the best restaurant in Seattle, and she's mad. I think maybe there's something else going on. Yeah. Spoiler alert, Camille is cheating on her.
Of course.
Fucking cunt. So she ultimately at the end of that phone call reveals that she is cheating on Jackie with a woman who is basically just a younger, thinner Jackie, who owns some trendy coffee shop. Camille works in PR or advertising or something, and she was supposed to be working with Cassie to help promote her cafe, but instead, of course, she was just fucking her. Mm-hmm. Great. Wonderful. So Jackie ends up hanging up furious and then switching over to sobbing almost immediately. She starts drinking. She tries to make herself a chocolate cake, but she fails miserably at it. And so she just goes to bed instead. But the next day she wakes up and she's like, you know what? Fuck her. So she goes to work and she's got like extra pep in her step. And Everest is like, you seem like you're happy. And she's like, yep, I got dumped. Oh God, are you okay? Are you okay?
Never been better.
Yeah, never been better. And like, she basically says like, yeah, it hurt. It sucked really bad, but also she cheated on me so she can eat glass. Like, I am in pain, but my life is pretty great and I have this great job. And he's like, oh, do you want to come out with me tonight? I'm going to go drink with my partner. We're going to go out and have some drink. Do you want to come out? Absolutely. Yes. So after work that night, they go out, they meet with Everest's partner is named Seven. They are like a big burly redheaded, like artsy dude, but they look like they should be like picking up hay bales.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I love it. And their name is Seven, which Everest sort of rolls his eyes. He's like, you know, chosen names. It is what it is.
I mean,
I love them. I love them. Okay. I love them.
When
but their name is Seven.
When you can choose literally any name.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You can choose anything. So I just thought that was a really funny moment because there are times in queer communities that we don't talk about, which is like, okay, so their chosen name is a little weird, but we still love them.
I would choose the unbearable lightness of being.
Oh my God, I would call you that.
And don't try and shorten it.
This is my husband, the unbearable lightness of being. Imagine like having to scream that in bed though.
I know.
No, that's too much.
Yeah.
That's too much. Anyway, back to this book. So they go out drinking. Jackie has a fantastic time. And while she's out, she starts to realize like, hey, Camille made all of these accusations about me not making any accommodations for her, but I accommodated her constantly. I drove her to and from work, even though she wanted to have the bike because it was better for the environment. But it's always raining in Seattle, you know?
Yeah.
Or the fact that she was always out protesting to like save the whales and save the planet, but she used like single-use plastic straws. Yeah. And she was just sort of hypocritical, but hot. So, you know, Jackie comes to terms with the fact that her relationship is over in this bar. She has one drink. She has a fantastic time with her friends. And then she leaves and she's feeling better than she has in days. So she's like, you know what? This isn't all bad. Everything's going to be okay. The next morning is Saturday. She wakes up and she decides that because she's feeling so good, she's going to go like do some stuff that she hasn't done before. Like she goes to Pike Place.
Okay.
Camille never wanted to go to Pike Place because it was touristy and, you know,
I get that.
You know, whatever. But she wants to go there. There's a market there with delicious produce and fresh fish. And she ends up in this like weird little woo-woo crystal and herb shop that happens to be there. And she says, do you have anything for a breakup? And the woman behind the counter is like, give me a second. And she like gathers a bunch of stuff up and like writes out some instructions and is like, don't do anything without reading everything first.
Okay.
I gave you a bunch of options. I don't know what or if any of it will work, but just don't get wild with it, okay?
Read this twice.
On the way back home before getting ready to go to work, she runs into a bunch of cosplayers, which is just a side note. It's Comic-Con. They're in Seattle. There's a great Comic-Con there.
Emerald City Comic-Con, one of the best.
Yeah. She gets to Canade early, which is good because Chef Martin wants to talk to her. He has an idea. He probably had a fucking dream or something. He's dreamed up this dessert that he wants her to actualize. He wants a terrarium, an edible terrarium.
Okay.
Which she's like, yeah, I can totally execute that. So he needs her to figure out how to make transparent isomalt domes that they can crack open, and then inside will be basically a little forest. And she's like, yeah. And he gives her a bunch of supplies. They make it happen. She spends the next 24 hours working with borrowed equipment from Canade. So she's got the isomalt and the heating lamps and everything, but she's also got like a smoker so that she can smoke into the dome and make it look cool. And she starts putting all of this together. She bakes a cake. It all sounds beautiful. Everything that she's doing sounds really delicious. I can't focus on the food, but this is a book about a chef. And she starts going through and throwing in things from the woo-woo shop because like there's herbs in there and they smell good. And she's, if this smells nice, I'm going to throw it in. If this looks cool and I can sugar it, now I'm going to stick it in and it's a leaf in the thing. She puts some of the herbs in the smoker. It all works great. In the process of all of this, she is feeling incredible and creative. Everything is going exactly as she wants it to. And then Camille calls.
Of course.
And she is all tears and apologies because she made a mistake because she felt stagnant and unloved and like Jackie never had enough time for her. And this is not at all because she found out that Cassie is married. Or because she is a selfish bitch who made bad choices. She just made a mistake and she just needs another chance, don't you know? And Jackie's like, fuck, it sucks to suck. No, absolutely not. Are you out of your mind? Tells her to fuck off and hangs up on her.
Yeah. Wow, that sucks. Goodbye.
Oh no. Oh, that sucks so bad for you. In all of this, not that it's focused on much, but Jackie also recognizes that like Camille's family hates Jackie a lot, and they've always looked down on her because she has a quote unquote blue collar job because she works as a chef while they all work in like they're all rich or like I think Jackie's sisters own like a secondhand boutique that only sells name brand secondhand clothing, and so they just look down on Jackie because she cooks food.
You run a fancy Goodwill.
Yeah, exactly. You run a fancy Goodwill, and she, A, does something that everyone needs to live, which is provide food. But B, she works at one of the fanciest restaurants in the city.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But sure, your fancy Goodwill.
Right. Your fancy Goodwill it's called, what is it called? Oh, fuck, I remember.
Do you?
Once used, twice loved, I think. Or something equally stupid.
Something that looks like it should be hanging over the bed of a millennial.
Oh my God, if there was a sign over anyone's bed that said once used.
It just has that live, laugh, love vibe that I just fucking hate. Yeah. I'm sure the doors to the stock rooms are sliding barn doors.
Oh my God, there's so much fucking shiplap everywhere.
What's with this fucking shiplap and with wrought iron? Everything.
Joanna Gaines literally came and did it herself.
I thought you were going to say Joanna Gaines literally came.
That too.
She took one look at our store.
Oh,
came.
Oh my God.
Quick question. Who's Joanna Gaines? And why did she come in the store?
Joanna Gaines is a decorator. She has an HGTV show with her husband, and they did like renovation and like home makeovers. But she is the one who popularized the barn doors, shiplap, modern farmhouse aesthetic. That's Joanna.
Oh, she's the person I need to talk to about all this.
She did it.
Okay.
It's on her.
God damn it.
So anyway, now Jackie is pissed, and she is needing to feel vindicated in her own power. So she starts putting together the final result of 24 hours of hard work making this edible terrarium a reality. And it works, and it's perfect. And she cracks the dome with a little hammer, and that cut of hers that has not healed in 3 days, that is still bleeding, drops a single drop into this terrarium filled with smoke and cake that has been assisted with some magical woo-woo herbs. There is a huge flash of light, an explosion, and Jackie is knocked back and knocked unconscious. Switch point of view to our other FMC. That's right. We've only just been dealing with the one this whole time. Our other FMC, her name is... I have to stand up straight for this. Vexanthe Desmodius Hecate Marie Morningstar. God, I love her.
But what do we call her for
Vex?
That's what I thought. Okay.
We call her Vex for short. She is Princess of Infernius, the second kingdom of hell, 13th in line of the throne of her father, Bozeran. She has 12 older brothers, and she is the princess of hell. And her dad is a massive demon named Bozeran.
Okay.
She is our other FMC. So she is tall, lean, long, sexy as fuck, with gray skin, silver hair, black horns that sort of curl out of the crown of her head, and a very thin and elegant red tail with a heart-shaped tip and a forked tongue, which will come into play later.
No shit.
She loves fashion and is the most outright goth woman that we have ever had on this show. For sure.
From hell.
She's from hell, but she very specifically loves human fashion, Victorian fashion and goth fashion. She has studied humanity. She has gone through all of her hellish education. So she's studied humanity, but she is interested in humans far beyond what other hellish entities may be.
Oh, you studied the humanities? No, humanity.
No, I studied humanity. Yes, she did. So she wakes up in her room in the palace in Infernius to a knock on the door. There's a giant serpent there to summon her to lunch with her father. And so she takes like 2 hours to get ready before she walks herself over there.
Like a true goth.
Yes. She doesn't have a great relationship with her dad. Like her dad loves her, but he doesn't necessarily like express that well because he's a demon. He's also huge. Like he is like 20 feet tall and his head is the size of a Volkswagen, and like that's just him. That's just Bozeran. That's just how it is. And she's normal sized. So like when she goes and has lunch with him, I'm just imagining her sitting there eating her food, talking to this huge red demon whom she calls Dad. And he calls her my beloved daughter.
I used to work with a guy like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't 20 feet tall, but he was about my height. He was maybe like 6'3", 6'4", a little bit taller, but everything about him was just like he had big head.
He was just big.
Yeah, everything about him was just like overgrown.
Yeah. I used to know a guy, my cousin dated him a long time ago, and he was like that. He was just a big person.
Mm.
He was probably 6'7", 6'8", somewhere in there, but when he held a pack of cigarettes, like a pack of Newports, was like, it looked
like a business
fake.
card. Yeah.
It looked like he was holding a prop.
Yeah.
Because he just had giant mitts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Bozeran, sort of like that giant. So she has lunch with him. It goes about as well as you can really expect when you have a strained relationship with your parent. He doesn't really appreciate her desire to be a journalist and uncover corruption within the royal houses of hell, but like, duh.
Yeah. What is corruption in hell? People doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, she has a sort of sense of justice.
Okay.
And he's like, wrong place, wrong time, my dear.
Read the room.
What are you gonna do? Like, he just doesn't want her to make waves in other houses because it'll make the company picnic kind of complicated. Like, just leave it alone, go do something else, right? But there's not a lot else for her to do. Like I said, she is the 13th in line to the throne. She has 12 older brothers. She's never going to rule, and all she's expected to do otherwise is just sort of be, and she doesn't want that. After she's done with her lunch with her dad, she goes to a bar. It's one of her favorite bars because, so this is one of my favorite things about hell, the way that Heather Nix has written it. So nobody in hell can speak. That's one of the things that is an eternal torture. But the rest of the tortures, generally speaking, unless you've done something super duper bad, are not like horrible, gross, bloody tortures. It's like people in hell who are alcoholics now have to work as bartenders and serve but never drink for the rest of their lives, just stuff like that. And it's really, really cool. But one of the things that she likes about it is there are a lot of musicians in hell, and sure, they can't sing anymore, but they can play.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the music scene in hell is fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So she goes to this bar specifically to see some music. I can't remember who's playing, but there were names mentioned, or the descriptions of people you could have recognized if you knew who they were.
Yeah.
But eventually she leaves. She goes to walk home, spends a little time with her hellhound. She's a hellhound named Cupcakes. He's very cute for being a giant hellhound. Then she suddenly hears this crack, and there is this, a split opens in the eternal flames of Infernus. So they don't have a sky necessarily, but there's fire everywhere.
All the time.
Yeah. And a crack opens in that, light shines through, and she sees the human sky, and she's like, holy fuck, that's a sky. I recognize that from pictures. She walks into the light and is immediately snatched into it and disappears. And when she comes out on the other side, she is in Jackie's kitchen.
Well, okay.
So Jackie wakes up to the most beautiful woman she has ever seen in her life in her kitchen, and her kitchen table is cracked in half.
Well, it will do.
Yeah. At first she thinks that she's being robbed or something. She's like, please don't hurt me.
With explosives?
Yeah. Well, there's a gray woman with like horns and a tail in her room or in her kitchen.
Oh, maybe one of the cosplayers snuck out.
So she thinks that she's maybe like a cosplayer who's like had a mental break or something. She's not sure. She doesn't like threaten her or anything. She just says, please don't hurt me. Please get out of my house. But after a little bit of conversation and observation, when Vex Vex tells her, no, I'm a demon. And she's like, okay, so you are a crazy person. And then she realizes, oh, no, like all this looks too real.
Yeah. You smell like sulfur.
You smell like brimstone. Yep. The tail moves a little too naturally. Holy fuck, you're actually a demon. And then she faints again. And she wakes up a second time and she offers to help Vex after that. She's like, well, this is real. And there's a woman here who needs my help. So she gives her a jacket because she's really cold because she just came from hell. So Seattle's a little bit cooler than she's used to. She makes her a cup of coffee, and then Vex borrows a drop of blood so that she can open a communication portal with her father and talk to her father and figure out what they're going to do. And basically he says, I can't bring you home right now because it would raise Seattle. And we simply do not have the infrastructure to support the number of souls that would bring in. So if you give me 3 or 4 hours just to get that set up, I'll bring you home as soon as I can. And she's like, no. Don't kill 700,000 people to bring me home. When can you bring me home without it being a natural disaster?
That's what he said. Give him a couple hours.
No.
That's what
in a couple of hours, they'll have enough infrastructure to take all the souls that will be coming down.
That's not how I heard it.
I'm sorry. No. Give me 3 weeks is when they'll be able to open a portal that won't tear Seattle asunder. So Jackie's like, I guess you can stay with me then. Like, I don't know she doesn't really want to piss off anybody who's from hell. So,
generally it's a bad idea.
Yeah. So Vex is going to be staying with Jackie the next morning after a night on the couch and waking up to a nude Vex. So they have to have a little bit of a conversation about when it's appropriate to take your clothes off, when it's not appropriate to take your clothes off around people you may or may not have just met. First thing Jackie does is she makes the dessert dome again so that Vex can see it because she's never seen anything like this before. She's never even tasted human food. So she gets to taste her first thing, and it's chocolate cake. Fucking good choice.
Yeah, seriously. If you're going to start with the dessert.
Yeah. They enjoy that. They have a little bit of conversation. And then Jackie invites Vex out to shop for some clothes because Vex doesn't have anything to wear. And Vex is super excited because she's never been to a human mall before. Like, oh my God, doesn't that sound like so much fun? And Jackie's like, no, malls are awful, but okay, let's get to it. So
they're just going to go out with a gray woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So first thing Jackie does is she goes to have a quick shower and a quick Jill while thinking about the incredibly hot woman she saw naked earlier, who is now living in her home. It's very confusing, but Jackie's horny about it. She's not going to do anything, though, so she's just going to take care of it herself.
Have we ever used the term Jill on this show?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Just in case.
We have. But just in case, yeah, we call it Jillin' because Jackin' or Jillin'.
Yep. If you got a clit, we call it Jillin'.
Yeah. Yep. So Vex is fully aware of the jilling because she is the princess of a realm of lustful sin and she can smell it, but she's not going to bring it up because she doesn't think that that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Still, she does know that it happened. So they go to the mall where Vex ultimately does let her tail and her horns out because there are other cosplayers in the mall. And Jackie's like, oh, okay, for this weekend,
it's the perfect cover.
This is the perfect cover. So yeah, you just go be free. They go shopping. They have a really good time. And this is when Vex starts to notice that like humans really aren't all that bad. Obviously, the education that she got in hell was not going to focus on the good parts of people. No. But most people are pretty good. Most people she sees are just like sort of industrious and happy and generally kind. Nothing untoward, is happening in this mall. This begins Vex's very long journey in her discovery of how she really feels about humanity. The shopping is all going great. They have a fantastic time until, like, at some point the conversation turns and Vex decides to tell Jackie that she could smell that. Like, she just wanted to be, she didn't want to lie to her. She wanted to be open about it.
You could lie a little bit.
I don't know.
And say you sensed it?
I don't know.
You heard it?
Well, whatever she ended up saying, Jackie is embarrassed and she pulls away. They end up finishing the shopping. Jackie puts it on her credit card and they go home. And after they settle in, they sort of both seek each other out simultaneously to apologize and talk about it. And they have a really great conversation. They talk like grown-ups. Look at that. People having conversations in their relationships.
And one of them isn't even human.
I know. It's so great.
See how easy it was?
So this is a really great, like, open and vulnerable conversation. Once they talk it all out and express their attraction to each other, the eyes lock. The air gets heavy. They start to reach out and do those first tentative touches. Things are getting really like tingly and entertaining. And then there's a knock on the door. Of course there is. It is Cam's sister Stella, who is the president of the We Hate Jackie Club. She is here to get Cam's stuff.
Oh, so Camille, Cam.
Yeah, sorry, Camille. She's here to get Camille's stuff. So Jackie and Vex go and get coffee for an hour to just give Stella some space to do all of that. This was a fantastic scene. It's like a super cozy Seattle coffee house. It's a rainy afternoon. I mean, the aesthetic alone is so warm. They talk about a lot of stuff. They get to know each other a lot better. There is some conversation, though it's not really ever talked about in a way that is important to this story. I did think that Vex's stories about her mom were really beautiful. So Vex's mom was a succubus, but succubi can only have 13 children, and after that they die. And both she and Bozaran chose to keep Vexanthe, even though they knew it was going to kill her, because her mother loved her so much. It was a beautiful story. I really enjoyed it. And there's no way for me to seamlessly weave that in, so I'm just going to put it here. It's really nice. They enjoyed some really yummy treats and they have coffee. And the one thing that we really need to know from this conversation is Vex says that she wants to help because, so Jackie just put a shit ton of clothes on her credit card and she's now treating Vex to coffee and she's living in Jackie's apartment and Vex just wants to contribute. She wants to contribute financially. And Jackie's like, I don't know where you're going to find a job. She says, oh, no, it's fine. I know a guy. It's fine. So he's not really a friend, but he is an associate of her father, Seth Kazan, the CEO of jungle.com, who sold a portion of his soul to get his position. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That tracks.
So tomorrow she's going to go to the jungle campus and go find Seth and ask him for a job. They get back to their apartment after they finish their coffee and everything. Stella is gone. Thank fuck. The air gets really heavy again. And then they have this perfectly amazing kiss that almost becomes something more. But then Jackie puts an end to it because tomorrow's a big day. And they need to...
It's her first day.
Yeah.
It's Vex's first day at jungle.com.
Jungle.com. Well, no, it's Jackie's... Jackie is delivering the final product to Chef Martin tomorrow.
Gotcha.
And she needs to be on her A game. So Vex tucks Jackie in and goes to sleep on the couch so that she won't be tempted to wake her up in the middle of the night and ruin her day. So sweet. The next day at Canade, Chef is impressed with Jackie's work, which is awesome. They are going to start working on getting it onto the menu. And Chef has asked her to please get Everest up to speed on being able to do all of this as well, which is good because Everest tells her that day that Seven has lost their job. And so they have to put their plans on moving in together on hold because neither one of them is making enough money. So at least Jackie can offer Everest all the hours in the world to help as much as she can in that way. Vex spends the day navigating the Seattle public transportation system and ultimately gets to Jungle headquarters and speaks with Seth Kazan, who is, of course, a creep.
I say just probably a fucking ghoul.
He's just gross. But he does give her a job. She is the 13th princess of Infernius, and he has to. I want to say deflect. That's wrong.
Defer.
Sorry, he has to defer to her and give her a position. So he does, and he pays her an exorbitantly stupid amount of money to do nothing for 3 weeks, basically.
Give me money for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All right.
Through her job at Jungle and through knowing Seth, this is where Vex starts to really see how the world could be made a lot better pretty easily if only the people in power weren't so shitty.
Yeah.
You know, when the two women converge at home at the end of the day, they finally, thank God, have sex. The tension between these two almost killed me. I thought I was going to die. Like, my heart was going to stop in my chest. But finally they have sex, and it's so fucking worth it. So this first scene was super awesome. So neither one of these women is like a top or a bottom. They're both verses. Neither one is submitting to the other. It's a constant power exchange. Mm-hmm. One of them is submitting to the other, but neither one of them is submissive to the other. It is a constant power exchange. I loved this. I loved the way their dynamic was written. The vibes, I mean, everything about them is just so fucking good. So this scene, the body worship was excellent. The dirty talk. Jackie is self-conscious about her body. Vex is like, fuck you, stand up straight. I want to look at you. It's fantastic. And this scene, as I wrote in my notes, sometimes you read a sapphic book, and you go, oh, this book was written by a woman who loves women. Oh, yeah. This is one of those. This is that shit, the good shit. Heather Nix. So good. So Vex eats Jackie out to, I lost track of the number of orgasms, and so did Jackie. So good for her. And then Jackie eats Vex out and fists her. Whoa.
What? That... I mean,
damn.
That seems like a lot.
Yes.
So early in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, really. So both of them in this scene and after were like, whoa, like that's more than I've ever really done before. Like that was really super intense. The shit was super good, but even they acknowledged, they're like, that was a lot. Mm-hmm. That was a lot. It was fun, but it was a lot. Let's see. Then we jump to a week later. After a shitty day at work, Vex is left wondering if she is meant to be amongst the hellish because she wants better for humanity than the hellish are ever going to want to offer to them, obviously. Why would you want to offer humanity better? You're there to torture them. That night, Jackie comes home to Vex cooking her dinner, which really moves her because it's not really something anybody's ever done for her. She cooks for other people. People don't cook for her. And Vex has executed a perfect butter chicken, which sounds so good.
It does.
Let's see. At work the next night, while Jackie and Everest are catching up, Chef Martin informs them that they are going to be debuting the dessert that evening because they are expecting food critics to come into town. It's almost critic season. Holy fuck. This is Jackie's big break. It's very exciting. At the end of the evening, a guest arrives and specifically asks to speak to Jackie. And she is done with her shift. So she cleans up and clocks out and goes out to talk to Vex, who has pulled a bunch of strings to get a table here this evening. And they share an entire meat. They share the Canid
tasting menu?
Tasting menu. I can't, there's like a fancy word for when it's like a preset menu. But
oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Ultimately culminating in Jackie's dessert. They get it. And it's beautiful and perfect and wonderful. After that, they go home very quickly and they crash their way through the door to have some amazing, like, we just had the best meal of our lives. Let's fuck about it sex.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. So Jackie introduces Vex to her strap-on.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And Vex introduces her tail to Jackie's ass. That was a really fun scene. I really enjoyed that. All of this took place on the kitchen table that Vex bought for Jackie after she got her first paycheck to replace the kitchen table that exploded when she came through the portal. They fucked on it.
Oh,
hell yes.
Gotta break it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope it was sturdy.
Well, apparently it was.
Good.
Yeah.
It can handle some fucking.
It can definitely handle some intense fucking, because these women, they are not gentle about it, and I love it. All right. Let's see. The next day, Jackie wakes up. It's her day off. Vex is already at work, and she realizes that there are only 8 days left until Vex goes home. So she decides that she wants to do something big. She arranges a big date for the afternoon. She pulls a bunch of strings, uses Chef Martin's name, Canid's name, whatever she has to do. And when she picks Vex up from work at like 11 or something, which is wild, so Vex can just sort of come and go as she pleases from this job she does not have, basically.
Yeah.
Jackie picks her up and gives her presents. She gives her a bunch of gifts. So the first thing she gives her is a Nirvana t-shirt.
We got to.
Side note, Cobain not in hell. Which is really nice to know.
Yeah.
Local chocolate bars, because you can't keep chocolate in hell. So Vex needs to take some and kind of squirrel them away where she can. A blown glass gourd, because Seattle has a huge blown glass scene. And a silver necklace made by a local indigenous tribe. And then they go on a whaling tour and they see gray whales and they ride the giant eye, which is Seattle's big Ferris wheel. It's a really sweet, emotional day for both of them. It's huge, but they are both very aware that they're doing this because their time together is coming to an end. So it's bittersweet. But the feelings that are developing are just so tender and like they're protecting them. And it's so, oh God. The whole time I was just like, oh God, if anything happens to these women, I will jump off a building, you know? It's just so sweet. At the end of their date, they go home and they fuck about it. Absolutely. They make a sex tape.
Oh.
Yes. They film Vex riding Jackie's face, which keep that forever.
Hell yeah.
As a treasured memento.
That's
right?
hot as hell.
There's also a squirting scene. Good job, Vex. Vex's first squirt. After Jackie goes to sleep, Vex's dad conjures a communication portal in the kitchen just to talk to her, see how she's doing, because there's only 1 week left, and he needs her to please provide some of Jackie's blood to complete the portal. Not all of it,
no,
just a little.
We only need like 3 drops.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't desanguinate her.
That's it. Yeah, she was like, I'm not gonna kill Jackie, and he was like, no, just like a vial. All we need is like a vial. It'll be fine. You know.
But he hands her like a.
He does give her like a teeny tiny vial.
I just like because he's so large.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could just put her in that, Dad.
Yeah, I just put the whole Jackie right in there. So she wants to tell him in this scene that she wants to stay topside, but she can't bring herself to do it, and the portal closes too fast before she gets the balls up. The next day at work, Melissa, who is Seth Kazan's personal assistant, asks Vex if she would like to meet her after work for a drink and a surreptitious conversation. At that chat in a local bar, Melissa tells her that she wants Vex to stay in Seattle and come to work for her at a new company that she is starting. Possibly in direct competition with Seth. I couldn't really tell exactly what the plan was going to be. But basically, Melissa, who is, again, Seth's personal assistant, says, I can't keep working for a guy who's literally like the devil's right-hand man. My parents would be rolling in their graves. And you have the ability to make people like Seth Kazan think that your ideas are their ideas and that your thoughts or that your good thing will somehow benefit their bad guy agenda. Like, you have the ability to spin it. So I think you should stay on the surface and help me make the world a better place, basically. And Vex says, I can't do that to my dad. My dad loves me. He wants me to be home in hell with him.
So this woman knows who she is?
Yeah. Well, she's very aware. All of Seth's inner circle are very aware that he sold his soul to the devil. It's all apparently normal to them. I guess it would not.
Believed?
Yeah, and believed.
Okay.
Well, I guess if you work in the upper echelons of an organization like jungle.com, and you learn that the guy who runs this place sold his soul to the devil to get this, would you be that surprised?
If you told me that the actual Jeff Bezos sold his soul to the actual devil to be who we know him to be now, same thing with Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Any of those
I would not be surprised.
tech dweebs.
All of them. I would not be surprised.
Billionaires. I shouldn't say just tech dweebs.
Yeah.
Billionaires.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the reality is so much worse. The reality is they just do that because they're evil.
You're right. Actually, it's more comforting.
But it is comforting to think they could perhaps be possessed by demons and not just terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, Vex says all that, and Melissa says, okay, but if your father really loves you, wouldn't he want you to be happy? You seem to be very happy here in Seattle. Subtext, with your super hot chef girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So they end this conversation. Vex is left with a lot to think about, but when she turns around, she sees a very drunk Jackie laughing with a beautiful woman. So she marches over there to collect her. From Jackie's perspective, the baby gay waitress at Kenny'd asked her to please come to this bar and help her get the guts to ask out the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
Mission accomplished. She got the date, and Jackie's happy and excited for her. And they have a drink together just to celebrate. You know, the baby gay got her first lesbian date. It's very exciting. But Jackie's had one too many drinks. Up until this point, she has not been drinking. Since Vex arrived, she has not been drinking. And now she's making some bad choices. And she feels really bad. Like, as soon as she sees Vex, she feels bad. Not for being at a bar with a woman, for being drunk. Even though she never made any promises to Vex about how she would conduct herself or the amount of alcohol she would consume or any of that. Like, she's been making these decisions partially because of her relationship with Vex.
Yeah.
So in drinking, she feels she has let Vex down in some way. This was all very poignant and very, very hard to read in some ways. Jackie is so real as a person. Book character, yes, but person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But Vex is not upset. She is kind of, but not for the reasons Jackie thinks she is. She collects Jackie. Jackie says goodbye to her friend. They go home. Like I said, Jackie is very sloppy and very apologetic the entire time. But so they get home. Vex puts Jackie to bed, or I think maybe she even leaves her in the bathroom because she's kind of barfy. And she leaves. She bolts. Jackie has hurt her, but Jackie is kind of a mess. And for the first time in Vex's life, she is being offered real choices. Mm-hmm. Real confusing, complicated choices with consequences. And she's freaking out about it.
Welcome to being human.
Yes, exactly. But she knows that she does not want to be the kind of woman who runs away when she's having problems with her girlfriend. She doesn't want to be a coward for Jackie. So she decides that she knows what she has to do. She opens a communication portal to talk to her dad and tells him she is not coming home. She wants to stay in Seattle. And at first he argues, but she says there is a woman here that she wants to stay with. And that changes his tune immediately. He's like, okay, stop right there, kiddo. He talks about her mother, which is not something that has happened a lot in their relationship, because Jackie knows that to some degree Bozeran resented her because Jackie was born and her mother died. Mm-hmm. Like, that was the way it had to be. But Bozeran does love her very much, and he completely understands wanting to be with someone regardless of whether or not they might be the right choice for you, because he chose to be with a
succubus.
Thank you. Jesus. Because he chose to be with a succubus, which is a lesser demon. Mm-hmm. And everybody thought that he was sort of marrying out of his class, but he did it anyway. Mm-hmm. So if you want to do it, do it. So she says, great. Instead of bringing me home next week when you open the portal, can you please send through a glamour so that I'll look normal while I'm up here? He says, yes, absolutely.
Oh, in my laptop.
And then she goes home. She wakes up Jackie and tells her that she is staying and also that she loves her. And then Jackie says, I love you back. This beautiful scene, very like messy, teary, hugging, kissing, crying. Very sweet. I loved it so much. 1 week later, the portal to Infernius opens in their kitchen. Bozeran puts his, massive size of a Volkswagen head into their kitchen so that he can meet Jackie. So he can meet his daughter's girlfriend.
Yeah, luckily, I've got these vaulted ceilings.
Right. And after she passes out and then wakes up again and says hi, so she meets Vex's dad, and they have a lovely conversation. He hands through a vial of glamour potion for her, and also a permanently glamored cupcakes, so she can have her dog topside too. But instead of a hellhound, now he looks like a little black French bulldog who knows too much. Which I think is fucking hilarious. Vex then announces that she is leaving Jungle, that she's taking the opportunity that Melissa has offered to her, and that she's going to be starting her own company and making her own money. Even though, like, at the same time, both Bozaran and Jackie are like, you never have to worry about money.
Yeah.
She's like, I know, but I want to make my own. Please, everyone. Of course, she's just two people's princesses now. Yeah. She's got Bozaran and Jackie to spoil her for eternity. At the end of this scene, ultimately, Vex chooses not to take the glamour, and Jackie tells her that this is Seattle. People are fucking weird here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if anybody gives you a weird look, who cares?
Yeah.
Just go with it. So Vex is going to be gray forever with the tail and the horns and the whole bit.
Match
and
the sky.
The goth fashion, it's not even going to matter. Nobody's even going to notice. I guarantee you. And that is the end. We have an epilogue.
Of course.
It's just a couple of short vignettes. 1 year later, Vex and Jackie get married. And then sometime after that, Jackie is finishing a display of cakes and desserts and taking some gentle ribbing from Everest, Seven, and Vex before they open the doors of Jackie's brand new bakery, Sweet as Sin. The end. That was Mixing Up Mayhem by Heather Nix. Thank you so much.
Well, that was definitely worth the wait.
Oh, my God. I hope I did a good job of it. I really do. I know that I kind of rambled a lot, I feel like. But God, do I love them so much.
Here's the thing. We're not here to tell everybody every single detail of these books. We're just here to give them the rundown, have some fun, and maybe help the authors out. That's, maybe get a few more sets of eyeballs or earballs.
Earballs. Whatever kind of balls you want to put on them.
Whatever,
with consent.
Whatever kind of balls you're into.
Oh, shit.
Gotcha.
Oh, fuck.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Busted.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you're asking what I'm into?
I'm asking you what you're into.
This week, and for all time, I am into David Bowie. I mean, I'm having a sort of Bowie resurgence in my life right now. I never really realized how much of a fan of Bowie I was until I really started adding songs to the playlist, and I was like, oh, and this one, and this one, and this one, and oh wait, yeah, oh I really do like Bowie, don't I?
Yeah.
I guess we sort of inadvertently by mistake named one of our children after Bowie a little bit, but it's just so good. The music is just so good, and it stands the test of time. Like I was telling you a couple weeks ago, I got really excited because we were driving in the car, and our son, our older child, asked to hear Starman. And I was like, yes, you can absolutely hear Starman anytime you want, forever.
Yeah, when I picked him up,
so great.
When I picked him up from your parents' house,
yeah,
from his sleepover with the grandparents last week, and we came out of their neighborhood. I can't remember what I was listening to. It's probably Thumpasaurus. And he said, Dad, can we hear Starman? Fuck yeah, you can, buddy.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yep. It came on while we were driving home today, and he started singing along to it.
Yep.
Not all, just a couple of the words, but fuck yes.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, it's cool when it's like music you're into.
Yeah.
But just the idea that like the first few times he would ask for songs. Even when he went through that phase when he was really into What Does the Fox Say?
Yep.
He really went through that phase where he was really into Gangnam Style. He loved that AJR song.
Oh, yeah.
World's Smallest Violin.
Yep.
The Ed Sheeran Bad Habits.
God, he loved that song.
Big Bad Habits phase. But then he also was into like Boilermaker by Royal Blood. Just the idea of him liking music.
Yeah. Because it's so important to you.
It's so important to me that he shows any interest at all in it is just so great. So great for me.
It really is. It's so good. So I guess for the link this week, put Starman. But David Bowie in general.
Gotcha.
What are you into?
I'm just gonna I think you've said this on the show before, but it's my turn. It's fucking Chapel Roan.
Hell yes.
It's Chapel Roan. I had previously not heard I'd say more than like 2 seconds of a Chapel Roan song, like scrolling through TikTok.
So good.
But I was up north for work here in the Great White North of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan, and you had mentioned the Chapel Roan Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh yeah, I saw that recently, but I didn't say anything because I didn't realize how into Chapel Roan you were.
At the time, I probably wasn't.
And so when I got home, we watched the Tiny Desk concert, which I will link. And I was floored. I was absolutely just fucking floored by just everything felt authentic, but also not like authentically put on. And I did I did a little research, and she views Chapel as sort of like a personality, like a character.
Yeah, she leans very into drag and clown elements in her performances. Yeah, for sure.
And just a tremendous voice, tremendous. Like I said, just everything felt very just raw and real and authentic. And I felt overwhelmed with feeling like, my God, what it would be like to be like a teenage girl discovering Chapel Roan. Yeah, like that has got to feel like she gives me that vibe. Like this, like Chapel Roan is changing. Lives with it, and I'm not trying to make it sound like. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying here. It's art, guys. It's pop culture. But like think about that pop star or that actor that just changed the way you saw everything. Yeah. Chapel Roan is going to be that for potentially a lot of young people.
Especially a lot of young queer people.
Oh, God, especially that. It excites me. Because of all of that stuff that I just rambled about. I hope it all made sense and it was all coherent. But from a personal standpoint, it was really nice knowing that as I draw near my 46th birthday, that I am able to still feel this kind of excitement about music that is not made for me. Yeah. And be able to acknowledge that, because I remember when we were watching it, that's how quick it happened. While we were watching it, I was like, this is not for me, and I don't know that I would listen to this on my own, but this is very impressive. To me blaring Pink Pony Club in the bathroom while I shower. Yeah.
Never been more proud in my life. Seriously, I tried to put it on Threads, but Threads was fucking up, so I couldn't do it. But I was like, I can hear producer/husband Carl listening to Pink Pony Club in the shower. I'm so proud. I'm so happy.
It's such a good fucking song.
It's such a fucking bop.
Such a good fucking song.
The crazy thing is, and part of the reason why, like when we watch the video, you're like, oh God, look at her. She looks so young. It's because she is. Pink Pony Club is from like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, but even then she was only like, she was 22, 23. She's 26 years old.
Yeah, she is. But I mean, like even in that video, she looks younger. Yeah. And she hadn't cultivated the modern Chapel aesthetic yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really surprised. She's been around for like 7 years in some capacity. But yeah, I was in that the band in the Tiny Desk concert is one of the tightest, most well-rehearsed bands I've ever seen.
They were great.
They all fucking crushed it. So thank you for listening to me ramble about Chapel Roan. She's tremendous, and if you somehow have managed to not hear her yet, go watch the Tiny Desk concert in the link. The killer stripped down version of Pink Pony Club. Yeah, that's all I got.
Also fantastic stripped down version of Red Wine Supernova.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, have you selected the book?
Yes, I have.
For next week, do you wish to divulge it?
I do, yes. So, to kick off our summer of friendship, we are going underwater with Hard Bubbles by Leah Legend next week.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one should be really fun. Very excited.
Well, I am looking forward to it, not only because it is the kickoff of the summer of friendship, but it's our first time recording anywhere other than this living. Well, I mean, we've recorded in our den our first episode was in the den.
Yeah.
And then we do our author profiles and stuff out there. But in the meantime, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Cheap Smut. If you would like to send us an email, please do so. cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. If you go to the show notes and click on our link tree, you will find a link to this book right at the top. It is not an affiliate link. We don't get any money for this. We are just trying to help the authors out. But if you would like to support us financially, you can do so on Patreon for just $1, like these fine folks have: Dana Goddard, Stephanie Hawkins, Gemma, Lady Squishy Buns, Tia Esk, Rob Katika, Angela McNichols, Katie Hurd, Gwendolyn Harper, Seneca O, and Rebecca K. The music that you hear in this and every episode is called Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use at the Free Music Archive, freemusicarchive.org.
Listener, remember, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Now it's time for us to be done with this. Goodbye.